Ever wonder what the top 5 movies of the 90s were? Well, wonder no longer, as in today's video, I'm going to go over the top 5 movies of the 90s. Let's get into it. Number 5, Chungking Express, 1994. Wong Kar-wai's 90s output, Days of Being Wild, Ashes of Time, Fallen Angels, Happy Together, was staggering, but it was Chungking Express, aided by Tarantino, the newly minted cinema god after Pulp Fiction, bringing the film the US, that brought him international recognition. Two intersecting stories of love-lorn cops set adrift in a crowded, lonely city. Wong's masterpiece finds beauty in the pain of being lost in this world. The filmmaker creates an incredible sense of mood and feeling with a bold, expressive use of color, composition, and his unique slow-motion blurring effect, which he juxtaposes with other fleeting movements using an ephemeral editing style that doesn't care too much about plot. The result is an expansive sense of the emotions of characters often trapped inside themselves.
Miramax Films and Rolling Thunder Pictures present Wong Kar-wai's Chungking Express, Angeles Times.
Number 4, Groundhog Day, 1993. Watch this film enough times and you'll discover 3 remarkable things. 1, the unlocking of Bill Murray's potential as a performer and the depth of his persona, which was later exploited by Wes Anderson and Sofia Coppola. 2, a poignant life lesson that mixes It's a Wonderful Life and Buddhist philosophy, which somehow does justice to both the complexity and simplicity of that religion. 3, a script that taps the full storytelling potential of the medium in a way no comedy has ever done before or since. Watch it once, you saw an incredibly enjoyable comedy that'll put a smile on your face. Number 3, Pulp Fiction, 1994. Quentin Tarantino's follow-up to Reservoir Dogs had to deliver on a ton of hype and expectations, but the writer-director went beyond the Call of Duty with this story of 2 mob hitmen, a gangster, his wife, and a pair of dim-witted robbers whose 4 stories intertwine in one of the most deliciously violent crime dramas ever made. Tarantino somehow endears the audience to soulless men, particularly John Travolta's Vincent and Samuel L. Jackson's Jules, who can take a break from a philosophical conversation and murder a group of 20-somethings and pick up right where they left off as if nothing had happened. Unimaginably graphic and violent, the film is also one of the most stylistic, innovative movies of the decade, without skipping on the plot, and picked up a well-deserved Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. Number 2, Close Up, 1990. Close Up doesn't just get to the essence of Abbas Kiarostami, it gets to the essence of cinema itself. Like its subject, a man who impersonated Mohan Makhmalbaf, another Iranian auteur, the film is many things at once: documentary, fiction, reenactment, raw footage. Kiarostami was frequently self-reflective throughout his massively influential career, an approach that was rarely more rewarding than it is here. You can feel Close Up growing into more than it initially appears to be, even if you can't tell what form it will eventually take on. Number 1, Goodfellas, 1990. Martin Scorsese is hardly the first person to explore America's fascination with organized crime and the long history of movies about them. Beyond the violence, exploitation, and theft, the mob represents a bullying of the working stiff trying to eke out a living that runs counter to the American dream. And yet that sense of belonging to a family ruled by a code dictated by a melting pot of international traditions, with the power to deliver frontier justice in a world ruled by bland, corrupt institutions, is uniquely appealing. Of course, the American gangster film tradition dates back all the way to the early silent shorts like The Great Train Robbery and The Musketeers of Pig Alley. Scorsese grew up in the midst of these tropes. He was that young boy at the beginning of Goodfellas watching the unbridled men who ruled his neighborhood out the window, but unlike his protagonist Henry Hill, he was a small kid weak with asthma and stuck inside watching movies. For Scorsese, this wasn't simply an intellectual exercise, though no one does his research and has a cultural and historical approach to filmmaking like Marty, but rather it was deeply felt and personal. What's truly remarkable about Goodfellas, not just for a mob movie but any movie, is the way it embodies all these contradictions but utter clarity. Every scene of Goodfellas simultaneously captures both the horror of and our fascination with the mob. Scorsese achieves a documentary-like historical realism in front of the camera, which then in turn guides us to the dizzying magic of going to the back door of the Copa. The unexpected eruption of violence from men with no moral compass, and the cocaine-fueled paranoia of wondering if the cops are on your tail. Scorsese's masterful sound design, soundtrack, and voiceover alter our relationship with what we see on the screen, and not a beat off this film is off. Few movies have ever fired on all cylinders so well, all cranking to their max, working in perfect unison. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss on any of our videos in the future. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.